Hi.
Morning.
My name is Kelly Sharp. I am on staff at Kiwanis International. I am the area director for the Northeast region, which means I have the honor and privilege to get to work with New Jersey. And honestly, it's so wonderful. I have been in this role for over a year now, and I am getting to know some familiar faces. So it's really nice to see those familiar faces. And I'm really happy to be here hanging out with you on Sunday. I hate that we can't all be in person, but you know, we can all be together still, and that is just really great. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to talk about how to have a meaningful club meeting. So let me share my screen. Okay, how to have make meetings more meaningful. So oftentimes I feel like this is our meeting, right? We are not engaged. We are oftentimes being like, when is this going to be over? Oh my gosh. But really what we want to have is something like this. Yay, we're so excited to be here together. Life is good. You know, we're having a good time together. Or, you know, maybe I should have posted pictures like this. Really, this today and age, we are behind computer screens. Sometimes technology is not our friends, but really we want this to be the goal. We are happy, we are engaged, even if we're behind a screen. So how do we make that happen? I'm so glad you asked, because we're going to talk about that today. So in the terms of making your club culture more positive and having, which leads to more meaningful meetings, these are the things I really want us to focus on today. Number one being make your purpose known. And then we have to learn all things about communication. Then we need to focus on the concept of investing in your members, injecting fun into everything, and then showing your appreciation. So that's what we're going to talk about. So the first one is making your purpose known. I know we have all seen this together, the mission of Kiwanis International. So I have a little fill in the blank down here at the bottom. Kiwanis is a blank organization of blank dedicated to improving the world one blank and one blank at a time. So, you know, take a second, think about it. We all know it. It's all probably engraved in our hearts. But for those of you who might not know or might need a refresher, I'm going to fill in the blanks for you. Or you can say them with me if you want to. Ready? Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world one child and one community at a time. Yay, you did it. Woohoo, your brains are flowing on this Sunday morning. I'm so glad. So take a second and think about that. That is the mission of Kiwanis International. And let me tell you this, I know at times we all get, you know, we get in the weeds with our own club meetings. You know, we might not always agree on something. That happens in my own personal club, so I totally get it. But the concept that I want you to think about is, are you a mission-driven club? Because if you are really following the mission of Kiwanis International, which is to serve children of the world, then it is really hard to argue about anything. Right? So if you go back to the mission of Kiwanis, it really becomes difficult to focus on anything else besides the mission. So take that and bring it back to your clubs for sure. So next, I want you to really focus on speaking the language. And no, I don't mean, you know, French or any other language besides English, even though that's totally a possibility, because we have many clubs like that. But I'm really talking about speaking in a language that is relative to your members. Communicate the details. Oftentimes I feel like problems come from a lack of communication. So we don't know the details, and we don't know, hey, like, here's what I thought we were doing, but we're actually doing this. So make sure you're communicating, and at times over communicate. And then encourage feedback. ask your members what they want. This is something that I highly encourage you to do on an annual basis, if not more often than that. I know there are several clubs who do a member satisfaction survey quarterly, and some do it once a month. But if you are not doing some type of feedback session with your club, I would highly encourage you to do so. I know a lot of times people will do this through like a Survey Monkey website, and I think that's a really good way to do it, because it gives your members a way to anonymously provide their feedback, which might be something valuable for your club. And then give meaning to your rituals. You know, we all have those sacred cows in our clubs, right? That is a thing, and that's particularly for Kiwanis as well. So I would encourage you to rethink your rituals, but more so give meaning to them. And here's an example that I'm going to share with you about officer installations. So we're all familiar, I hope, if not, with this guy on the screen, Mr. Potato Head. We probably played with this as a child. We might still have one in our house, who knows. But what if you did your officer installations such as this? What if you had the actual Mr. Potato Head, and for your officer installations, you created one? So you might have, you might insert the hat for the retiring president because they are the wise counselor and they know so much knowledge. You might insert the mouth for representing the club secretary because they are the communicator. They do a lot of the communications for our club. Or what if you put the eyes as you're representing the president because they see the vision for the club. You know, this is just a fun example and really easy to do. Another example that I've seen clubs take on is with flowers. So they'll have individual flowers, and they'll have this red rose represents the president, or they'll have some Gerber daisies, and that represents the treasurer, and then they have some daffodils or lilies or whatever, and they each represent a certain member in the club. And then after they put them all together, it makes a big bouquet, and it's just beautiful. So something for you to think about. Just take what you're doing, and if you need to make a spin on it, I'm sure you can be creative and come up with many different ways to make it happen. So the next thing I want you to think about is the concept of investing in your members. And what do I mean by that? When I mean investing in your members, I really mean take the time to see what they're interested in. You probably have some results when you get your anonymous survey of like what they want to do when it comes to service projects. So maybe you can say, for this quarter, we're going to do a service project that this specific member wants to take on. Or investing in your members might mean sending them to a decon or a VCon, which is what you're all doing right now. Or maybe you can take that one step further and say, we're going to participate in a divisional council meeting, which might lead to them going to a district convention, which might lead them to an international convention. So it really can spiral into many different things. So I really highly encourage you to help them provide education to themselves. And also be relatable. Like I mentioned earlier, what are you doing in terms of service for your club? And is it fun for your members? If it's not, I would highly encourage you to rethink it, change things up, and then meet them where they're at. A lot of time members are new to our clubs, or they might not know what's going on. So talk them through the process. A personal example that I have is I walked into my very first Kiwanis Club meeting. And, towards the end of the meeting, they're like, it's happy dollars time. So everybody took money out of their wallets and they were like raising it in the air, and like a $5 bill or a $1 bill. And I was like, what is this? What is happening? Why are people raising money in the air? And I was so confused. And so then the person beside me was like, oh, this is happy dollars times. And then explained to me what that meant. And so I had a much better context of what that actually looks like, and why it was meaningful to the club, and why that was something that we chose to do every so often. So especially with our new members, or even some members long time established in our clubs, we might need to just say like, hey, here's what we're doing and here's why we're doing it, to just reinvigorate them. And then in terms of investing in your members, I want you to think about the concept of joining versus belonging. And here are a couple of phrases I want you to think about. Joining is what a member does. Belonging is how they feel. Joining is a transaction. Belonging is an experience. Joining is rational and belonging is emotional. So my question to you is, have you joined Kiwanis or do you belong to Kiwanis? Or what other organizations have you simply joined? Or what other organizations do you belong to? I think oftentimes, for example, like we join the local zoo association or whatever, but we don't belong to it. It's not something that we have an emotional attachment to, or maybe you do. Maybe that's relevant to you in your life. So if we had the concept of joining versus belonging, maybe it would mean something like we would recruit different types of members. So instead of recruiting members in general, what if we recruited child advocates? Or what if instead of recruiting members, we recruited intentional volunteers? Something like that. So something for you to think about. And that's my whole purpose of this workshop. If you are able to say, or if I'm able to make you think and just stop and think for just a minute, then that means I'm doing my job. So hopefully you're able to take something away for sure. Okay. Next is the whole concept of inject fun into everything that you do. Which I know is not even something that should be surprising for you because you're all doing that already. I know you're all doing so many fun things in your clubs, but here's a couple of examples that I wanted to share with you. So a network happy hour, that is something that I have seen pop up on Zoom and go to meetings so much right now. I probably do 2 to 3 happy hours every week in this virtual world that we're living. Something super to do and really relevant. Have a dream session. There's this club, I believe it's in northern Georgia, in our Georgia district, and they have a dream session once a quarter. And what that means is they come in there and their meeting is strictly just to dream. They say, here are some things we want to do, whether that is, raise $10,000 to give books to the local schools, or whether that is, really connect with multiple boys and girls clubs within their community. And they dream really big. And then they say, here's what we really want to focus on. And here's the dream that we want to make come true. So they take those dream sessions and just make it into reality. And they do that often because they would rather focus on making things happen rather than just standing still in what they're already doing. So something for you to think about. Dessert night. There is a club in the California, Nevada, Hawaii district, and they have a dessert night once a month. And it started from the concept that one of their members is a baker, and she truly loves to bake. She bakes for her grandchildren, she bakes for her neighbors, and she's like, I'm going to bring this to my Kiwanis club. And so now, once a month, they're taking requests. And so if they get her double chocolate peanut butter brownies, then every club member is smiling ear to ear because that is really fun and special for their club. So something super simple to do, but brings a lot of joy to their club. And then you can see several up here. What if you started and ended your meetings with a joke? That way everyone's starting off with a laugh and ending with a laugh. I'm a very cheesy person, so that is just something that I really love to do. And maybe you'll like to do it too. Next, the whole concept of assigning a specific role to your club members. By that, I mean, what if someone in your club was the cheerleader and they were like, hey, this is great. We're going to keep things fun and moving, and it's going to be so much fun and really intentional with what they do. So maybe there should be a cheerleader at every one of your club meetings. What if there's a mover and a shaker? This person is going to be the one that helps us identify when we're getting stuck in the weeds. So if there's this problem that we are still stuck on and just can't move past it, this person is going to be the one that says, hey, let's move on and we can come back to this if needed. What if there's a photographer? I would highly encourage every one of your clubs to have someone who is responsible for taking pictures, if not more than one person, excuse me. That way you can be posting all the fun things that you're doing on your Kiwanis Club social media page that you're using, regardless of what that might look like. And then a scribe. Someone who is taking meeting notes, which we probably already have that role. But what if the secretary wasn't there? Something for you to think about too. I know a lot of other club members or clubs have a bunch of different assignments for their clubs. There's maybe a club greeter in your club, who knows? So be thinking about what specific roles do the members in my club need to have. And it might look different than this. Okay, now, the concept of what I would like for you to focus on is having fun, expected meetings. What if you went into every Kiwanis Club meeting and it was you knew you were going to have fun? And let me be realistic with you. So we know that every Kiwanis Club meetings can be fun, and it should, though. But we have business that we have to get down to. So I don't want you to think every club meeting is going to be a party, woo, even though we want it to, right? You're going to have to do some business. So get your business done, but don't just focus on the business. From gong to gong, what rituals or activities are you doing that you might need to change up? It could be different every meeting. It could be the same. But if you have a new member in your club, what might be awkward for them, or what might they not understand? I gave the example of the happy dollars. I didn't understand it, but once it was explained to me, it made it much more relevant and interesting and engaging. So what aspects in your club might be strange? If you take that and then you're able to explain it to a new member, that would be super helpful for them. We've already really talked about rituals and making sure that they are rooted in relevancy rather than just, this is the way we've always done it. And then I would encourage you to think, how can I shake things up to embrace a wider audience, whether that is ages within your club, whether that is professions in your club. One of my favorite things to do is to look at the ACE tools. ACE stands for Achieving Club Excellence. That's another thing I would encourage you to do. Oftentimes at Kiwanis, we as Kiwanians use acronyms, so many acronyms. We have SLPs and ACE and LTGs, and a new member might not know what that looks like or what those actually mean. So make sure you're spelling out what that looks like. So make sure that you are having a wide variety of topics that would be meaningful to all of your club members. And then how can you make it more engaging? Sometimes, I have felt this before, let's be real. The Zoom burnout is really all sometimes. We have so many different Zoom meetings and calls, and to be really transparent with you, sometimes I have 5 hours of Zoom calls every day, and I'm like, whew, okay, let me get up and take a break. So if meeting in person is not something that you're doing right now, I totally respect that, because that's not what I'm doing right now. But do what you need to do to be your best self. So if that means taking a Zoom break, more power to you. Make it happen. And then show your appreciation. I want to start off by saying thank you. I know that you have a choice of different workshops to be at this moment, and that you have other things that you could be doing today on this wonderful Sunday morning. So thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit. I really appreciate you taking the time just to spend with me and to hang out, and it really means a lot. So I would highly encourage you to say thank you to your club members. It's really going to mean something, whether that is a written thank you note, whether that is a text message, whether that is an email saying, hey, thank you for participating. That really meant a lot. And it's really easy to do. Make people feel great. We talked about those little things, ways that we can make meetings fun, whether that is having someone bring cookies to a meeting, or whether that is giving them a role that really makes them feel important. Do what it takes to make members feel important, because that's how you're going to keep members and retain them, which is something that we are so focused on right now, is retaining our members. And then rethink the way you recognize. I was talking to someone else earlier about ways that they recognize people, and this one was really funny. They were like, Emily, before every club meeting, I go pick up a rock. And I was like, a rock? Like, why? Tell me why. Why do you do that? And they're like, well, I give it to the club member that has been really participating at every, in the meeting that we have. And I give it to him and I say, you rock. And I was like, you know what? That is so simple. Something super easy to do with something that we find outside. So whether that is, a little mini trophy that you can give to someone, whether that is a rock that you found outside, whatever, just rethink the way you're recognizing people, and it might really make a difference to them. Now, I want to leave you with this video. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Kid President, but he is this little boy who, well, he's not so little anymore. He's definitely grown. But his concept is, I like this quote that he says, is everyone can be boring, but you're gooder than that. So let me see if I can share this video for just a second. Can you see my video screen? Can someone give me a nod? Yep.
Yes.
All need a pep talk. The world needs you to stop being boring. Yeah, you. Boring is easy. Everybody can be boring, but you're gooder than that. Life is not a game, people. Life isn't a cereal either. Well, it is a cereal. And if life is a game, are we on the same team? I mean, really, right? I'm on your team, be on my team. This is life, people. You got air coming through your nose. You got heartbeat. That means it's time to do something. A poem. Two roads diverged in the woods, and I took the road less traveled. It hurt, man! Really bad. Rocks, thorns, and glass. My parts broke. Wah! Not cool, Robert Frost. But what if there really were two paths? I want to be in the one that leads to awesome. It's like that dude Journey said, don't stop believing unless you dream stupid. Then you should get a better dream. I think that's how it goes. Get a better dream and keep going. Keep going, keep going, and keep going. Will Michael Jordan have quit? Well, he did quit. No, he retired. Yeah, that's right. He retired. But before that, in high school, what if he quit when he didn't make the team? He would have never made Space Jam. And I love Space Jam. What will be your Space Jam? What will you create will make the world awesome? Nothing if you keep sitting there. That's why I'm talking to you today. This is your time. This is my time. It's our time. We can make every day better for each other. If we're all on the same team, let's start acting like it. We got work to do. We can cry about it, or we can dance about it. We were made to be awesome. Let's get out there. I don't know everything. I'm just a kid. But I do know this. It's everybody's duty to give the world a reason to dance. So get to it. You've just been pep talked. Create something that will make the world awesome. Play ball.
So my friends, you've just been pep talked. I hope that you have found that interesting. That video is something super simple to do. In the words of a kid, do gooder, be awesome, make things happen. And it really is possible. So my question for you is I know that y'all, I can talk and I can talk for days and days and without anyone talking back to me. But my question for you is, how does this make you feel? Are these things that are practical for you? Do you have fun in your club meetings? What does it look like? Have you found a tip that's interesting to you? Let me know. Talk to me. Not everyone at once. Okay, great. No one's having fun in their club meetings. That is really good to hear. Love that.
I was going to say, we try, we've done some things to, kind of break it up from being too boring, especially over Zoom, trivia night. But I like a lot of the things that you brought up, things that, as you think about it, it's like, yeah, that makes a lot of common sense. But I don't think, we kind of see them, we lose them. So I've been taking as we've been going through, and I think like that video is going to be a good one to show what our, what one of our, and kind of, I think we have to mix things up more.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing, Celeste. I appreciate that.
Okay, I'm president of my club, and what we do is we celebrate every birthday. So each month we've been doing this for years, that when it's your birthday, we sing to them And what we do is when we're in-house, we make you bring a present. And if you don't bring your present, then we don't sing to you. But we sing, you know, but we're a cheerleader and we try to. And then we do videos of like, we've done video on baseball. We'll do video on Alexander Hamilton. We're bringing videos of other people's interests and stuff.
I love that. That is so good. You're being so intentional with the interest of the members in your club. Thank you for sharing.
And also people like to hear their names. So if they do something good, I try to be cheerleader to try to, you know, thank them and mention out their name, but this is what they did. You know, we celebrate anniversaries. We had one of our members, we had our charter night. So we have one member that's in Kiwanis for 65 years. And Kiwanis, you know, is Legion leader. You guys don't go up that high. So we had to make up our own award.
There you go. Being creative. I love that.
So
we do the happy dollars in our club meetings. That was, we started that a few years ago, thanks to Joey. And we've raised, I know we've raised several $100s over the past few years that we've done this. So we've done that. If there's a birthday, we do celebrate. We've already done some of the stuff already.
That's good. I love that. Thank you for sharing.
yeah, we do happy sad dollars because we have a lot of sports fanatics in our club. So like, for instance, this year, the Boston Red Sox are playing very bad. So we would tell them, or the New Jersey Devils, you know, in New Jersey aren't playing well. So we have a guy that's an avid fan, and he's a ticket holder. So he always gives a lot of sad dollars. So we make a lot of money because the Devils play so bad. Sorry, Gordon.
I love that.
I like to call, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Danielle, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we do a member of the month. So we recognize a really outstanding member that's really done a lot of service for our club. So we do a member of the month and we put it in our newsletter. When we were in person, we gave certificates, but we've been doing digital and sending them digital certificates. But we try to really have that member shine because there's been so much service in. So we do a member of the month.
I love that. And you know, that's something that's going to be super meaningful to them that they can share and pass along with their loved ones. That's so easy to do and it makes a big impact. Thank you for sharing.
I'll say this is just a general comment. So my Homedale Club meetings, I like to call controlled anarchy because it's a joke that's been running for a long time now, is you always ask the president within 10 minutes of the meeting, when did you lose control? And their answer is always October 120 or whatever it was. The biggest aspect that we have is the social aspect in our club. You know, we do a lot of work there. We only have about an hour and a half meeting. 45 minutes of that is work. The other 45 minutes is just social, you know, good times. Everybody's sharing about, you know, what's going on in their lives. We're hearing about people's kids and their grandkids and everything. That's what really, you know, we love doing the work. The work is you know, the important part, but sharing those stories and those ideas and everything, you know, about what's going on in people's lives, that's that connection that you really need in the fellowship in Kiwanis. So
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you for sharing, Joey. What else? What other fun things are you doing?
I forgot to mention, one of our members, when he comes to our meetings, he will entertain us with a joke or two near the end of the meeting.
I love that. Jokes are so fun, y'all. And they're so easy. And like I said, the cheesier, the better, in my opinion. So just Google some. Take your phone and just Google some. And just, it's a surefire way to just break the tension if there ever is any. I love that. Well, friends, again, I really appreciate you for hanging out with me this morning. Again, I know you had a choice of what to be doing, and I'm glad that you are spending time with the New Jersey Kiwanis District, learning and just spending time together and hanging out with me specifically. So if you need anything from me at all, please let me know. I believe everyone should have my contact information, but if not, it's super simple. E-sharp, S-H-A-R-P, @Kiwanis.org. Let me know if you need anything. I'm always happy to help. But again, thank you so much. Joey, do you need anything else from me? You're on mute, but I think
there we go. I thought I clicked one. Thank you very much for presenting this morning. If you have anything you want me to send everybody, I'll be putting together an email probably later in this week with all the videos and everything, because we're recording everything.
You got it. I will make sure to send you my PowerPoint, and y'all just Google Kid President. It is really fun and great videos and multiple ones for you to choose from. So
He
again,
will brighten your day.
yeah.
Yes.
Have a good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you.
Emily.